Hey, it's me, MLB. This is chapter 17 of Why You, Why Me, and it's titled Meet the Parents. As you rounded the corner for your home, you saw your sisters playing in the front yard. "Bakugou, wait," you hissed. "Here is fine. My sisters will see you." "Like I give a damn if they see me," he said, strolling purposefully forward. "Wait," you whispered harshly again, pulling on his elbow. "No," he shot back, walking right up to the gate. "What's up, extras?" he snarled, a mischievous grin on his face as he leaned up against the iron, arms up above his head. Mika and Zura looked up at him and knew who he was immediately. You hung back, not knowing what to do, panicking internally. "What are you doing here?" Zura huffed, little hands on her hips. "You're supposed to be staying away from Yin." "Correction, squirt. She's supposed to be staying away from me, but she can't because we're meant to be." He smiled smugly. "And there's nothing you can do about it." Now look, let's be honest, you loved that he was so sure of himself and that he wasn't afraid to stand up for you and admit his feelings openly, but he really wasn't helping the situation. You smacked your hand to your face and groaned. "Bakugou, what are you doing?" He looked over at you. "I'm telling them how it is." "Yes, I can see that," you responded sarcastically, "but you're not helping with this whole thing." He pushed off the gate and walked back to you. "What do you want me to do? Beg for their acceptance?" He scoffed. "That ain't me. If they can't accept me for who I am, then so be it. But that doesn't change anything about how I feel about you." You blushed as he pulled you into him sharply, and then he kissed you on the lips. "Ew," came Mika's little voice from the gate. You peered past him to see her tiny face pressed between the bars, watching you two. You giggled. "Okay, look, let's just leave it for now. I'll come up with an idea on how to get everyone to meet you and like you, hopefully." He shrugged. "Like I said, you're mine. End of story." You smiled and pecked him on the lips again, before running past him to the gate and letting yourself in. You glanced back at him one last time and smiled internally, then when you saw him watching you with that same hungry stare that he always adopted around you. You then ushered your sisters inside and followed suit. You were wondering if you should ask them to keep it quiet about Bakugou, but before you could say anything, Mika screamed into the hall. "Mom! Yin was kissing the boy that calls us extras and swears a lot." "Oh, great," you rolled your eyes. "Here it comes." "She was what?" you heard your mum reply. You grimaced. "Yin, come here please," she called out to you. "Oh, you're in trouble now," Zura said in a sing-song type of warning. You sighed and set your jaw, preparing for the onslaught. You walked sullenly into the kitchen and faced your mum, who was standing there with her hands on her hips. "Were you with that boy?" she asked accusingly. "Yes, I was," you replied, your gaze falling to the floor, shifting your weight nervously. "What did I just tell you the other day?" she said with an annoyed exasperation in her voice. You were about to reply when there was a knock on the door. You looked up, confused. Who could that be, you thought. Zura skipped to the door and opened it, and you leaned out the doorway to see who it was, your heart dropping when two crimson eyes locked with yours the minute that your sister opened the door. "Oh no," you screamed internally. He must have seen the look on your face and smirked. "Don't be so happy to see me," he said sarcastically. You didn't move or say a word. "Who is it, Zura?" your mum asked. "Trouble," was all she replied with, and you groaned loudly. Your mum walked into the hall and saw Bakugou. "Can I help you?" she asked him. "Maybe not," he said curtly, "but I'm here to support my girlfriend." "I'm sorry, you're who?" "The most beautiful girl in this house," he responded with, smirking at your mum and crossing his arms across his chest. "Oh, he must mean me," your grandma interjected, hobbling out of her room and down the hall. "What fun am I missing?" You grinned internally, the fear inside you subsiding now that Grandma had joined the fray. "Please come in, darling," your grandma said to Bakugou, pushing your mother aside gently to let the boy inside. "What's up, Grandma?" he greeted her with a big grin. "Been ages since I saw you. Good to see you're still alive." You flinched slightly at his directness, but Grandma seemed to like it. "Alive and kicking, young man. Make yourself at home," she said, ushering him into the lounge room. She turned and looked at everyone who was still frozen in their respective places. "Well, come on, you extras. Come into the lounge room. We need to chat." Bakugou cackled manically from the lounge room. "Can I adopt you?" you heard him ask your grandma. Am I supposed to be his soulmate, or is she? You smiled and shook your head. There was an awkward exchange between Bakugou and your mum. She wasn't impressed with him, and he could tell. Bakugou didn't make any excuses for himself, though. He was who he was, and he didn't make changes for anybody. He did his best to refrain from swearing, however, which you appreciated greatly. Then your father walked in. He felt the tension immediately and seemed to know who Bakugou was straight away. "What are your intentions with my daughter?" your father asked him directly, standing over him in a dominant display of fatherly protectiveness. Bakugou stood up and got right up in your father's face. You covered your mouth to stop the nervous squeal that threatened to escape. "I'm in love with your daughter, sir," he spat. "She's my soulmate. Nothing's going to change my mind on that. She'll be mine forever." Your heart was thumping in your chest. Bakugou was right up in his face. They looked like two fighters trying to intimidate each other before a match. Finally, your dad backed down without a word. "Now I'll take the grandma too, 'cause she's awesome," Bakugou added with a dead straight face, still staring your father down. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of here for protective Bakugou. Stay tuned for chapter 18.